that's really where the fun is just taking part at whatever level you feel is right for you. It's just you looking at the participants in any of the sports, you put a smile on your face.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the HSE Talking Health and Wellbeing podcast. My name is Fergal Fox and today we're talking with Special Olympics Ireland about all things sport, inclusion and health and wellbeing, of course. To all our listeners, thank you for your continued support and please share this episode with anyone you think would be interested. And if you'd like more information about HSE Health and Wellbeing, follow us on Twitter or X and take a look at our HSE Health and Wellbeing YouTube channel or register for our e-zine by emailing healthandwellbeing.communications@hse.ie. So my guests today are Kathy Fulcher, who is the Health and Wellbeing Coordinator with Special Olympics Ireland, and Jonathan Deering, one of the Health Messengers with Special Olympics Ireland. Guys, you're very welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, and thanks for having us on today.
So, Kathy, I might start with you. Give us a broad outline of the work of Special Olympics Ireland. I think a lot of people will have some frame of reference for this work. Can you give us the boilerplate?
Yeah, well, so Special Olympics Ireland the main focus is offering opportunities year round for sports participation for athletes from the age of 4 with no end age level. And it organises this through a number of clubs. That we have 17 sports on offer, 2 winter sports and 15 year-round or summer-focused sports. So it's a great opportunity of participation for everyone with an intellectual disability.
And Jonathan, you've been involved for a couple of years now. Can you tell me, when did you get involved?
I got involved in around 2008 and I was doing 2 sports at that time. I then got picked from the Eastern Region Games for both because I got gold in both. And
what
I had
were
a
those
choice
games?
to make. That was the 2010 and before that 2009 Eastern Region Games to get picked for the Ireland Games, to represent the Eastern Region down in the Ireland Games, to get picked for the Athens World Games in 2011. I chose badminton, and from that I went on down to Limerick and won 3 more gold and got picked to represent Ireland in the 2011 Special Olympics World Games in Athens.
What was that like?
Well, there's nothing like it because it is the home of the Olympics, as they say.
Oh yeah, it's the real McCoy.
Yeah, it is. So it was something else. We were in the opening ceremony and the closing ceremony was actually held in the original stadium.
Wow.
The original one where they participated years ago, back when the Sparta and all those people were around in the city-states, as they say.
Very good, very good. So your sport was badminton?
Yes, it was. And 5-side football then, but now it is 7-side football.
Okay. So you've been playing badminton for a long time then?
I've been playing for many years because my dad taught me from a young age in Connecticut Juniors, and he has also represented Ireland in the World Police and Fire Games because he used to be a guard.
Oh, very good, very good. History of sporting achievement.
Yeah.
So can you tell me what it was like to get involved in Special Olympics Ireland when that first set off for you and you were involved in the kind of regional games? What did that feel like for you?
Format was easy enough because I knew how to get involved, but the only sport I knew at the time was badminton. I was in a club in Whitehall Road where the headquarters for Badminton Ireland is, and then we got a friendly with another badminton club, and then they said that they had the next day to go to a soccer tournament. So I went and joined that club for soccer as well, and from there I said there's no point in going to 2 different clubs on 2 different days. I chose Specialta. From there I went on, and halfway through the year, near enough to the Ireland Games, I actually got injured twice in a row.
Right.
With the right ankle, and it's never been the same since.
Okay.
Well, it is good.
But you won a few medals in
I've won a fair few, so I've won a fair few, mainly for badminton, but a lot for soccer as well.
Okay. And what kind of how does that feel in terms of achieving at a sport at a national level?
To achieve, to represent your country, not many athletes can say they've done it. But when you do it, it is the highest honour any athlete can get because you're representing your country, you're representing the rest of the people who have come before you and who are going after you as well.
Yeah, very good. So, Kathy, you might go back to the different type of sports. You know, Jonathan talking about badminton and 7-a-side football. So, but you mentioned there's a wide array.
Yeah, so we've 17 sports in total. The 2 winter sports, which we've actually just had, are Ireland Winter Games, which was alpine skiing. and floorball, which is a bit like ice hockey indoors, like a mixture between indoor hockey and ice hockey. So they would be offered during the winter. And then in the summer, we have a huge range of sports. So 15 range from golf, football, badminton, as Jonathan said, swimming, gymnastics, pitch and putt, athletics, there's, you name it. We have, an involvement with the sport. So there is really something for everyone. We've got, there's bowling and bocce as well, more gentle sports. So, we've got something at all levels for any type of participant who wants to get involved.
So I want to come to, because I know one of your key messages that you want to bring today is about the opportunity there is for volunteering with Special Olympics Ireland. So who's backing up all this work?
Well, we really rely on our volunteers because all our coaches are voluntary.
Yeah.
And, alongside the coaching, we've got supporters with every training session there and people helping us deliver all our programs, say the health and wellbeing program, which I'll talk about a little bit later. We, enlisted a number of volunteers to get involved with that. But the whole organisation relies on our volunteers. And from, just parents, people helping with coaching, or professionals, in the medical area. So we involve all of those as well, helping us do our health screening.
Okay, so there's a variety of opportunities there.
Yeah.
But in terms of all those types of sports, can we give the listener a kind of a frame about where those clubs exist? Like they're right across the country, but there's different opportunities in different areas. Is that what?
Yeah. So if you, as an individual, or if you know someone with an intellectual disability who wants to get involved, wants to start participating in a sport, they can go to our website, and you can look by area or sport and find what is in your area, what sports clubs are offered in your area. So that would be at the club level. We help new clubs get, develop, get set up, and go through all the administrative procedures and that. And then the clubs also, are helped along the way with development and coaching education. And then athletes, if they choose to progress through the whole program, they can go through an advancement cycle of being graded in their sport, progressing. So there's always targets if you want to compete and get better and strive to keep going, as Jonathan went all the way to the World Games. So you can go to your club level, you can compete at regional level, you can then, go forward to compete at the World Games. But you don't have to do that. You can just stay enjoying and participating in the sport at whatever level you want to.
Yeah.
But there is a pathway if you want to follow that too.
It's funny the way, but we do this with all sports as well. Like we put the people that achieve, at the top level up on a pedestal, but the sport does so much good in a very natural, social, local way.
Yes.
For every participant,
Yes.
isn't it?
And you would see that at any competition, any event, any games, just the joy in participation.
Yeah.
And that's really where the fun is just taking part at whatever level you feel is right for you. It's you looking at the participants in any of the sports, you put a smile on your face.
Yeah. What do you think at that point, Jonathan, in terms of like take away your achievements? Like what is the participation give back to you? Never mind the winning things.
Participation gives back in many ways because when I first started with Specialta or Flying Arrows, they're now called Tallaght Trojans. I already knew a lot about badminton from a young age because, as I said, I was trained at a young age in Calca Juniors out in Baldoyle before we moved down to the West Wicklow. So I was helping in any way, small way that I could, showing people small things, but I was also learning.
So you were a mentor in others.
Ways. I was showing small little nicks, small little things that I knew from a young age, and then they were showing me small things, the coaches, that I used to learn. The only thing I used to know that at badminton, I was holding the grip, as it said, the handle flat handled, where you're supposed to hold it at an angle to get a better smash shot.
Right.
So I learned that from my World Games coach, and from now on, I've actually used the badminton racket that way. Instead of holding a flat one, I would hold it further forward, and that way it would be at a slight angle.
Yeah,
and you'd hear more of it swoosh through the air instead of a.
Yeah, no, I get you. But like you're deeply engaged, Kathy. Jonathan is literally describing how somebody can go like just get into the zone of your sport, and it's the same with everybody. You get lost, and you're suddenly enriched by your skill development. Like you just gave a great example there of just a little skill that helped you along the way. It's great.
But yeah, and Jonathan's actually sort of alluding to one of the things we have in the program is athlete leadership,
All right.
where we get our athletes involved as fitness captains or health messengers, which is what Jonathan has helped with. So they help with the coaching. They help, they learn a little bit more. That our fitness captains would learn a little bit more about the sport. They'll help lead the warm up or the cool down.
A fitness captain.
Fitness captains.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're empowering our athletes to go a step further in their education and to help out with the programs and the sports that they're involved in. And that's what Jonathan was just mentioning. So he had the skills and he then was able to pass them on. Yeah.
Yeah, I did in 2011-12, I did a few different courses that got me trained in as a coach in basketball, which I then did in my niece and nephew's school and the local one in Dunlavin where I live. And for nearly 4 or 5 years, I was a basketball coach. And now one of the students that I taught actually works with me in Ratsala.
Very good, very good.
So he does.
Full circle.
Yep.
But the point that you're making here is that you got support and you're giving support to other people now.
Yeah, to the local area in thing. No matter, even if they don't have disabilities, I was using what I learned in a course to help others achieve what they wanted. I offered soccer skills to them as a soccer coach, but they already had it from the FAI, from the ground level. From the roots level all the way up. They had somebody coming in for that. What they needed was somebody for basketball. So I offered them that.
Yeah. It sounds so life enriching, when you get an opportunity to engage with that, you're learning and give back learning. Isn't that what everybody wants to do fundamentally, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's empowering people. Yeah. Like you have the knowledge and then you can share that knowledge. So it's empowering people to go forward with that.
Yeah. So when I was talking to you before this episode, I thought, like, everything that Special Olympics Ireland do is implicitly supporting health and well-being.
Yeah.
And then there's an explicit health and well-being program that you're driving and coordinating. So you're working on 2 different levels, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I suppose the message, through the health and wellbeing program and everything we do is that sport and health and physical activity, all of those go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And looking at the whole person, the whole athlete, and giving them all the tools to try and, be proactive in long-term health.
And this is very important, I suppose, in terms of health inequalities as well. People with intellectual disabilities may suffer disparities in health that they need, this extra support is definitely needed, isn't it?
Yes, that is the worrying fact that they may not be accessing health services. They do, the facts are there. They have, a 5 times higher instance of diabetes, twice a higher instance of cardiovascular disease and asthma, 3 times more instance of arthritis. Mortality rates are 16 years earlier than in the general population. Now, a lot of the time it is in some professions put that down to, that's a genetic, issue with intellectual disability. That's not necessarily the case. These are preventable conditions that can be changed, or that can be adapted if you adapt your lifestyle and change certain elements of your lifestyle. So some of the disparities may be, they're not accessing the health services. And we all know, health service is trying to get to the service we want to, or the element of the health service we want to access is a challenging pathway anyway. And then the information may not be easily accessible. And so some of the issues that we're trying to adapt is inclusive health, basically.
Okay.
Making it accessible, including people with intellectual disabilities in all the health education and health promotion programs in the whole health system.
Right.
Not just ours, but in the whole health system.
Okay. So looking at your health and well-being components, then specifically that you're trying to address these lifestyle factors, you're trying to engage and support, and as you said, not only do the lifestyle advice and information, but you're trying to improve the access to health services as well. Tell us a bit more how you're doing that.
So, with the 3, pillars or elements to our health and well-being program, there's the health education and health promotion program, which we've several different strands of that. So one of them it's 19 modules, which are going through all, from nutrition, hydration, sun safety, screen time, all these elements. They're broken down into 19 modules. We will train individuals within clubs, volunteers within clubs. They don't need to be experts in these areas because we give them all the toolkits and the packs to deliver the programs. So we ask them to go back into their clubs, or we deliver to the clubs if needed. And, these are very neat little modules that can be 15, 20 minutes long as part of a training session or at the end of a training session. And it's just really opening people's minds up to taking charge of their own health and giving them the information and the tools to do that. We have a similar program for our younger athletes in health promotion. It's called Health at Play. And that's 5 modules for our 4 to 15-year-old athletes. And again, it's getting that message across at a very early age, giving them the tools and the information to start, a little bit of knowledge.
Yeah.
Hopefully those passions and habits, the good habits that they develop, will stay with them throughout their life. And because we're offering this to children, it's offered pitch side or in a classroom. So it's a fun, interactive, they don't even know they're learning. It's just a fun task that they do. So they go home with that knowledge, and then they might share it with their parents and their families. So it's the wider community that might be influenced by, the sharing of that information.
So I bring you back to the health promotion program. So you're doing a train the trainer
Yes.
and building the capacity of the people working and the volunteers in the clubs to be able to pass on the health information or health education in whatever way they can.
Yeah.
But trying to make it pro-social and...
Yeah, because if you think about it, if the whole club is coming on board and
Yeah.
taking the messages, if the volunteers, the coaches are, sharing that knowledge and showing, what the good practices, then the club, the whole club atmosphere and practices become healthier. So that's our target.
And the Health at Play, I love the way you say it there, they don't even know they're doing it because it's kind of, it's structured to be unstructured, if you like, or something like that. Is that it?
Absolutely. The props are just really fun. It's
No,
big.
this is the piece that you do with Safe Food, is it?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
that's
great.
our partner on that one is Safe Food. And they provide the resource kits, and they're such fun props that, the kids just can't wait to play with them.
Okay.
But the play part of it, they are learning those healthy messages,
Yeah.
big props of fruit that they put into boxes or into big circles and things they stick on boards. But they do take home those messages.
Very good. And another thing I wanted to ask you about that I wasn't aware of is the health screening that you do at your bigger events. Is that?
Yeah. So another strand of our health and wellbeing program is health screening. Healthy athlete screening is the full name
Okay.
of that. And we offer 7 disciplines. Health promotion is looking at lifestyle, mostly eating, sleeping, hydration. Then we work with podiatrists on our Fit Feet program, which is foot screening and looking at the biomechanics and the foot health. We have healthy hearing, where we would look at ear screening
Right.
and looking after your ears, basically. Opening eyes would be our eye health program, where we work with opticians and looking at, your eye health and eye care. We have our dental one, which is Special Smiles, again, teaching the athletes about good teeth care
Yeah.
and checking the teeth out. And then we have our Strong Minds program, which is our mental wellbeing program, again, teaching them how to identify stress and giving them tools and resources how to manage that. So
they all must be responding to needs that you've identified there.
Yes.
They're very
so
different types of components there, isn't
yeah,
it?
it's quite one of the startling facts that comes out of, because these screenings will be offered in conjunction with health professionals that
Yeah.
come on board to help with us at either events or at games, and whether it's an Ireland Games or regional games or a World Games. And some events you'll have 1 screening, some will have all 7, so depending on the availability and the resources. But one of the things that comes out at a games, if you have a group of 10 athletes, 4 of them might need glasses. 2 of them might have eye disease. If you look at their teeth health, a number of referrals might be needed on actual dental health issues. At the games we did recently, we did a Fit Feet screening, and a number of athletes had foot issues
Right.
that they didn't even know about,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
serious
yeah,
foot
yeah.
issues that needed referral onwards, that they weren't even, because they were probably competing in pain, but they didn't say anything and probably didn't want to bother anyone and didn't know what to do or where to go with this.
Right.
So that's what often comes up in games or in the screenings.
So you're getting
That-
immediate feedback that
Yeah,
the screening
so-
is giving you a return.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Jonathan.
I can attest to that. I have to wear these 24/7
The glasses.
because there's a small thing wrong with my left eye. The pupil is actually half there.
Okay.
So, and I can attest to what she says about feet as well. I was over at the World Games and I had something wrong with my big toe and the nail fell off. I didn't even know it. And by that time, there was already new one growing under, so I just had to wrap it around with a plaster all the time. But it wasn't paining. But when it was starting to
Yeah.
like flop a little bit, part of it was digging in. Only a small bit. But other than that, the sport went well.
That's good. It's good. It's good. But what you're saying is that these issues are coming up.
Yeah, they are
Uh,
coming up. Like at the last Ireland Games, I did nearly every single one of the health screenings, including the last one that you said there was 7 of them.
Yeah.
What was the 7th
Yeah.
one?
Did I miss one? Strong minds.
Special
Fun
sm-
fitness.
oh, fun
We
fitness,
had
yeah.
fun fitness. Yes, and you did that one, yes. So
No,
that's our
the
physical
one thing I didn't miss
measurement.
was getting the ears assessed because as they said, the doctor told me, and I don't know if everyone knows this, never put ear cotton buds down your
Into your
ears
ears,
at
yeah.
all. Don't. And hopefully pass that along to everybody who's listening to this, because mine were clogged up.
Right.
I couldn't go and get that hearing test done that they
Okay.
had done
Yeah.
in 2018, I think it was, in 2018 before COVID hit. I was told, no, you need to go and get your ears syringed. So hopefully everyone if they take one thing from this, it's that don't use cotton buds.
Yes, we're always told that, but everyone still does it, don't they?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So your screening program is giving you this immediate feedback loop that people need the screening, and you're supporting athletes and participants
Yeah.
through that engagement.
I
That's
suppose,
great.
yeah, one of the things, I mean, the one of the many benefits of screening. So yes, we're offering the screening, giving athletes the information, the feedback immediately, and the referral onwards. But also, we're involving health professionals in that experience. So we train the different. It could be a group of students. So we do partner with universities and offer training in inclusive health, and then we teach them all about the screening alongside the staff and the lecturers. So we have several collaborative programs with universities where we're training the health professionals. When they come along to a games, they get such an invaluable experience, an eye-opening kind of experience as well, of this is another element of health provision, and they learn how to work with athletes with intellectual disability and how to share information in a different way.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, to give you an example, I was doing a health promotion screening in Sligo at an event at the weekend. And again, sometimes we forget, we ask questions and we expect an answer. And that's just, a simple matter of fact. Now, I was going through questions on eating habits with a couple of the athletes who they found reading difficult. Their vision was not great. So what we would use would be large cards with pictures of fruit, pictures of vegetable, pictures of whatever question we want to ask.
Yeah.
So they can point to these, so we can still get the information, but in an accessible way for them. So it's those, but that's something that we've developed with our knowledge of what might be the issues, but that might not be the case everywhere. That questions are asked, answers are given, but they might not be the real facts.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you're giving the volunteers and health service staff, you're building the capacity by virtue of their involvement.
Yes.
Like as you said there, it's an inclusive health project on a number of levels.
Yes, and we would hope then those volunteers in the health professions would continue then and hopefully stay involved and come back and and even whatever pathway they choose, that they have that awareness of how to deliver a service to individuals with intellectual disability and offer the advice in a different way.
Yeah, very good. Can I bring you back into one of the pieces there about, and this is going back to your role, Jonathan, about the health messenger. Is it the Healthy Minds piece that's connected to that?
Yeah, so another one of our collaborative programs was with Mental Health Ireland.
Yeah.
And this was our Strong Minds, Happier Lives program. And this is, again, helping athletes in mental well-being. It's not necessarily dealing with mental health issues, it's mental well-being, and that's one thing we need to get across, that if we have our toolkit of how to promote and look after our mental well-being, it can prevent mental health issues in the longer term. So this is a program where we developed in conjunction with Mental Health Ireland and our 10 health messengers, and of which Jonathan is one.
Right.
And they worked with the program from the beginning, the very beginning. And that insight was great because it meant the program was developed with a real tangible, element of what people would find useful and how it should be delivered.
Okay. What was your experience of that, Jonathan?
It was amazing because we were all it happened during COVID. So we couldn't meet up in person to do it, to do most of it. Nearly all of it, practically all of it was done over screens.
Zoom,
whether it was on our phones, our iPads, Samsung tablets, whatever, or laptops, everything. It was amazing. And we all put forward different ideas, whether it was like listening to music, going for walks. No matter where you are, you could go for a walk on the beach, you'd go for a walk in the mountains, you go for a walk on the plains of, say, boglands, for example.
Highlighting things that people can do to protect their mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whether it's listening to music, watching a TV program that you like, just to get yourself focused on something other than what you're thinking about.
Okay.
These small things help in small ways, and then you can go forward and do these many things. Like for me, for me, I like all sorts of sports, no matter what it is. So if it's soccer, hockey, anything, ice hockey, NFL or something, I'll watch it, for example. Or I go for a walk with up to the local GA pitch where there's a walk around the big GA pitch. So I don't know how many miles that would be. So I do 10, maybe 15, 16 laps. Or I go down to the local green and do a few laps of that. But I'll also, at the same time, listen to music, because if you're in the local town, you'll hear kids and everything, the noise. You want it out of your mind. You don't want to be listening to noise when you're doing these walks that's trying to help you relax. So
you found the concoction that works for you, then the walking and the music.
Yeah. So sometimes that would work for me, but other times it will not work for others.
Yeah.
But also, if you're walking along roads, country roads, always have a high vis jack on, because there has been times where I've heard of people not having them when they're in the black and night and they're wearing all black and nobody can see them.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely true. The high vis is it should be expected, shouldn't it? From all the work. Sorry, Kathy, do you want to come in there?
Yeah, so just, to expand on, so Jonathan is still showing that he learned how to recognize what, if you get stressed or, when things get overloaded. And that's part of one of the elements of the Strong Minds program is recognizing, when you're getting overloaded or stressed. And then it comes with a resource kit of suggestions, coping strategies. And it's a lovely toolkit. One of the great, really popular parts is a colouring program, like just all these very, very detailed colouring sheets. And there's a stress ball, there's fidget spinners, there's a whole kit it comes with.
It sounds great. Sounds great.
There's the water bottle where you scan the QR code and it actually brings you into a forest on your phone, and you move around with the phone and you're actually listening to birds, the rustling of the leaves, everything about nature.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's an amazing one to have. I need to find my one. It's at home somewhere, but I cannot find it.
Now that you remembered it, it's like, where is it? Yeah.
But Mental Health Ireland, we had them on a podcast previously as well. That's great that they're working with you on that. And as you said, you're highlighting all these positive protective factors that keep people or they're your go-to when, there's things seem like you need to go to, you need to get out of the space. Yeah. That's great. So I wanted to highlight, we're working with you in terms of HSE Health and Wellbeing. We're funding Special Olympics Ireland for some of their health and wellbeing work, but you've got bigger funders, and I know fundraising is an ongoing challenge for you.
Well, fundraising is one of our big, and we have our fundraising collection day this week. But so we have a number of different grants. The HSE, we've Sport Northern Ireland.
Because you're an all-island
we're 5 regions. Ulster, Leinster, Connacht, Munster, and then Eastern and Leinster because of the size of the East Coast. So we're all, inclusive 5 region sport, but Sport Northern Ireland would also help fund the Ulster programme. So we have, the grants, and then we fundraise as well.
I know we mentioned the work with Mental Health Ireland. There's a couple of other organisations that are partnering up with you very productively. Do you want to mention, give them a shout out?
We're always welcoming other partners as well. So Safe Food obviously is, as I mentioned earlier, they collaborate with us on our Health at Play program for our younger athletes. We also partner with Breast Cancer Ireland, and we offer workshops on breast cancer awareness. And then we also had, we had one athlete who participated in the Operation Transformation, which is great. It was the first time that ever happened, getting someone with intellectual disability as a leader. And she's also a health messenger, so Jonathan knows Una well. And then, things like Sensory Books, which is with a partnership with Cork Library, or the Cork Library Group, developing sensory books on Eat Well, Be Well, Think Well. And they're fully accessible books that are, you can take them out in the libraries there. So that's another collaborative program.
We also have our international partners as well, because I got, during COVID, a call from the person who was in charge of the health messengers at that time to go on to a call with people from all over the world. We were talking to people with athletes who are from South America, Middle East, Europe.
That's
and
amazing, isn't it? Like
one big group who are from America.
Yeah.
But for the life of me, I cannot remember their name.
Yeah, but you're no more than you're participating internationally at times, but you're able to network internationally. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
This when I got asked to do it, and I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." And I just sat there for an hour, and we talked for nearly a full hour about different things and things like that. That would have. I think one of the ones that they help fund is glasses. They said.
Yeah, so we would, I mean, we're part of Special Olympics Europe, Eurasia. And we would, again, talk to them regularly. So, and they would offer some funding too. And one of the fun things that they do fund is sports goggles, which are quite hard to come by.
Yeah,
so again, they can be,
they can be expensive.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So, like, before we come to the end of the podcast, I want to go back again to the volunteer piece, because that, I think, you know, you did raise it earlier on, Kathy, and I'm sure, Jonathan, you've worked with a range of volunteers throughout the years.
Indeed.
You know, so how can people get involved? Or
so I suppose two things to get involved. One is if you have an intellectual disability of any age, or if you know someone, you know, and you want to get to know if you can participate in a sport, go onto the website, find a local
That's
sport,
Special Olympics.
specialolympics.ie,
okay.
And you'll find all the information. Or if you're a club who wants to get involved and start offering your sport to, you know, individuals with intellectual disability, that's all there too. But really, as I say, we couldn't run without our volunteers. And you don't have to be an expert in anything. It's just helping out with all sorts of things like our events, our clubs, our coaching, or if you are a health professional and would like to know more about our Healthy Athlete screening, or just get involved in sharing your skills with, you know, our health and wellbeing program, just come onto our website, and there's a whole section on volunteering. And we'd welcome anyone to come aboard and help us.
Great. That's a great shout out. I think you're doing really, really impressive work. I remember when the World Games came to Ireland, or Dublin. What year was that? No,
that was 2003. Yeah.
2003. Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of people got involved for the first time. That certainly reached the national consciousness that time, didn't it?
I think so. And you know what? So many of the volunteers who got involved then are still with us. They had such a fabulous time, you know, at the games. And
isn't volunteering one of those things as well? No more than like I'm saying it repeatedly here, but your organisation is implicitly and explicitly supporting health and well-being, and it's working in a variety of different ways. But volunteering also kind of gives to the volunteer, doesn't it? Like they get something back.
Yes.
And people don't stay involved unless they feel like they're getting a dividend, I guess.
If you think about it, they do stay involved. So they must, you know, you must be getting something back if you stay in volunteering, you know. And it's a lovely feeling.
Yeah.
To say something for the volunteers, when I went to the World Games, the badminton wouldn't have been run without the umpires who went over. Nearly all of the umpires who went from over there for the badminton event were actually from Ireland.
Right.
A few of them are actually coaches now in their local area. And after the Hellenic League, as they would like to call themselves, Greece, it was Ireland who sent the next most amount of volunteers to help run the games. And they said if it hadn't been for the Ireland volunteers, the games in 2011 would not have been run so well.
Wow, well, fair play to you. That's a great compliment.
For example, as well, if it hadn't been for coaches and stuff like that, like my coach at the time, he noticed something in my men's doubles partners event that he hadn't gotten the medal that he was supposed to. He was actually supposed to get gold. Mentioned this to the umpires and stuff like that. They went through everything and saw that he was actually supposed to get gold.
Yeah.
And he was given it. So he was. So it hadn't been like for my coach watching all of what event we were placed in, wouldn't have gotten his gold.
Yeah, very good, very good. But I think absolutely. I think the point though, as you said, Kathy, the volunteers are fundamental. And as you're saying, Jonathan, they work with you on every level, and they've represented the country so proudly then if they're such a mainstay of the international games.
Yeah.
So look at the signpost again is specialolympics.ie for anybody. Like there's a lovely bright website there with loads of information for everybody, and I'd like to send all our listeners directly to that website to find out more about what we've just been talking about. But I'd also like to thank Kathy Fulcher and Jonathan Deering for joining me today and for your valuable insights into the work of Special Olympics Ireland. Really appreciate you coming in.
Thank you so much for having us.
You're more than welcome.
And to all our listeners, thank you for your continued support. And this has been HSE Talking Health and Wellbeing Podcast.